Hello. Let's do lesson 5, Blender Gaming. Just like in 4, I have my or my project where I can go up, I can go down, I can go left, I can go right. So I have my 4 logic bricks in. Remember, I changed this to Blender Game. I changed my physics. My ball is actually rigid body right now. And what we're going to do, let's put that in there. And ball's pretty heavy right now. Let's change that to 0.3. Okay? And you notice now that my ball is lighter, it moves much quicker. I didn't change my logic bricks. And notice how it kind of slides before it moves. That's because, so just imagine how a ball will roll if it's let's say a beach ball versus a bowling ball. Okay, if I go back and I put this at, I don't know, let's put it at 1. Okay. And I roll it, and when I push up, it takes a while for it to roll. And then when I go back the other way, it takes a while for it to stop and go back. Those are the physics applied to it because it's so heavy. All right? Now let's put some other objects in there. Let's do just a plain cube. Okay? I'm just going to do a plain cube and put it in there and see what happens when I hit the cube. Okay, here we go. Oh, nothing happens. The cube stopped me. Okay, let's make the cube smaller. Let's make it, is it sitting on there? Okay, let's do this. Now let's see how it will react. Boom, stops it. Okay, let's give it, let's make the cube dynamic. Ooh, how will that react? I think my big old ball is gonna blast that cube. Let's see. Oh, okay. So you see how it reacts when I change it to dynamic. Let's do it again. Okay. Let's change it to rigid body. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when I change this cube to rigid body? I think it's gonna start flipping it over. Here we go. Okay, so it reacts a little bit differently. Okay, with rigid body or dynamic. I'm gonna go back, change it to dynamic, but I'm gonna give that cube. You notice when I hit it before, the cube, I could push it all the way across the plane. I'm gonna give it a weight of 4. Let's see what happens now. When we hit it, it should stop me in my tracks. Ooh, I'm able to move it a little bit, but it stops me in my tracks. You notice how this ball kind of goes into the cube? You see that right there when I go around the corner? That's because the bounding box isn't exactly the outside of the cube. And to change that, you change your collision bounds. So on my cube, I'm going to do collision bounds. And I'm going to do convex hull, which means the exact borders of this cube are how the physics are applied. So now when I go blast this thing and I go around the corner, it shouldn't be able to mesh inside of it. Yeah. See, now it goes around the corner like it typically would. The ball doesn't kind of conform to the cube like it was before. Okay. So you just change the collision bounds to convex hull. Let's change this cube. Let's do one more. Let's change it back to 0.4. Now, the cube is a lot lighter. My ball is still heavy. Now, when it hits it, what's going to happen? It should just blast the cube easily. All right? Nice. So what I want you to do is I want you to take, build the ball, practice the logic bricks, make sure you can move in 4 directions, and then put 6 items in here. You can do 6 monkeys, 6 cubes, it doesn't matter. And give them all different types of physics And you can play with these different, you could do soft body, you could do any of these other physics types and change the mass. So when I come into your project, I'm going to move the ball and I'm going to hit all these objects, and they should have a different reaction. Just exploring with the different elements of the physics and the different weights with mass. So I've already gone in and I've created the monkeys. You should have already done this. Now let's add the jump aspect. So what do you think we're going to do here? So let's add a keyboard, and we're going to let's do spacebar and add an actuator, and then we're going to add the sensor over here, or I mean the actuator over here to motion. What do you think we're going to do? We did on the X and the Y. Now we're going to do along the Z. Let's try 4 and make sure we change it to global. Okay. See what that does. So when I hit play and I hit my space bar, nothing happens. Why? Ooh, I think maybe because this has to be a lot more elements added to it. Let's try 100. Now let's do a play. Spacebar. Ooh, and I can jump now. Okay. And it is connected to your spacebar, so the longer you're going to hold that down, that ball will jump even more. So if I hold that spacebar down, woo, it's going to go forever. And be careful, because it will stay up there for a long time. So if I want to roll up here, and then I want to jump onto my cube, okay, and you're just going to have to play with these settings. So I overshot it. Let's make that cube a little bit easier to jump onto. There we go. And okay, so hit play. There we go. So what I want you to do is create a couple. Let's say 3 different cubes or 3 different elements that you can jump onto. So for the first part, create your items that you're running into, and your ball is going to react differently with the different items. And then create me 3 different items that I can jump onto. And they can just be cubes, 3 different steps. Okay? And then turn that in as lesson 5. Good luck.